More than 2,000 kilometers away from Ukraine, Russia's war is having a major impact. The Arctic was once a zone free of geopolitical tension, but its plentiful resources and maritime routes have increased its importance for many countries. The Kremlin has stepped up its military presence there, using the region as a test bed for advanced weapons. And NATO countries are also focusing on the far north.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Military Watch News. Today, we're delving into a critical geopolitical issue: the escalating tensions between Russia and NATO. A recent report from the German Council on Foreign Relations, DGAP, sheds light on the potential threat posed by Russia's military ambitions. Let's explore the details.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine is forcing its neighbor Finland to rush toward the embrace of NATO and the U.S. Just 1 month after joining NATO, Finland hosting its new allies for war games, learning how to fight together, and sending a clear message to Moscow. Finland's foreign minister telling NBC News that these days her country has almost no relationship with Russia.
You can't have a normal relationship with a country that is actively waging a war, not complying with international law.
Over the past 650 days, Putin's Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, prompting significant mobilization in Western nations. Defense experts suggest that Russia might only need 6 years to prepare for war against a NATO member.
Russia's movements in the region are of particular concern to NATO, not least since the Kremlin's order to invade Ukraine. There is a real fear of the war spilling over into NATO territory.
This unnerving timeline is grounded in Russia's imperialistic ambitions and its actions during the Ukrainian conflict. Russia's military maneuvers have been a cause for concern since the invasion of Ukraine over 2 years ago. The rapid deployment of troops, coupled with a substantial increase in defense spending, indicates a strategic shift towards a more aggressive stance on the global stage. Experts argue that these actions are not isolated to the Ukrainian conflict, but may be indicative of broader intentions, specifically targeting NATO member states. The battlefield in Ukraine is currently at a standstill, with Ukrainian forces resiliently pushing back Russian troops over time. Despite the conflict, a substantial military buildup within NATO and pro-Ukrainian nations has been slower than anticipated. This situation raises critical questions about the alliance's preparedness for potential future confrontations. The conflict in Ukraine has witnessed a protracted struggle, with Ukrainian forces displaying commendable resilience against Russian aggression. However, the broader implications of this conflict extend beyond the borders of Ukraine. The West, particularly NATO member states, has been hesitant in its response. While sanctions have been imposed, a unified military response is yet to materialize. This reluctance to engage militarily could be attributed to a complex web of geopolitical considerations and a cautious approach to avoid further escalation. In November, DGAP released a comprehensive report titled Preventing the Next War, emphasizing Russia's role as the most significant and pressing threat to NATO countries. The report suggests a potential 6 to 10 year time frame for Russia to build a formidable army capable of launching an attack on a NATO nation after the Ukrainian conflict. The DGAP report serves as a clarion call to policymakers and military strategists. It outlines the gravity of the situation and the urgent need for proactive measures to counter the evolving threat posed by Russia. The 6 to 10 year projection is not arbitrary. It is a calculated assessment based on Russia's current military capabilities, its historical actions, and the trajectory of its defense investments. The report underscores the urgency for NATO's proactive response, emphasizing that it's not a matter of if NATO will have to engage in conflict, but when. Planning for a strengthened and authoritarian Russia in conflict with NATO within the next 5 to 10 years is deemed crucial to prevent further territorial ambitions. The urgency emphasized in the DGAP report cannot be overstated. The prospect of a conflict with a resurgent and assertive Russia looms large on the horizon. NATO's response requires a multifaceted approach, including a reassessment of defense budgets, military preparedness, and a united front against any potential aggression. The consequences of complacency could be dire, with far-reaching geopolitical implications that extend beyond Europe. The experts argue that Europe must awaken to the threat Russia poses. They stress the importance of not allowing Russia to exploit a potential window of opportunity for military dominance. The recommendation includes NATO completing its repositioning at least a year before Russia reaches war capability, providing a deterrent and avoiding a successful Russian attack. Europe finds itself at a crucial juncture, requiring a collective awakening to the evolving threat posed by Russia. The historical context of European conflicts necessitates a proactive rather than reactive approach. The recommendation to complete NATO's repositioning ahead of Russia's projected war capability is a strategic move. It provides a deterrent, signaling to Moscow that any potential aggression will be met with a united and formidable resistance. NATO's role in European security is pivotal. The report highlights the need for European countries to have a unified perception of Russia's threat. It urges these nations to take a larger share of the burden of European security, emphasizing that failing to do so could tempt Russia to use military force against neighboring countries. The role of NATO in ensuring European security cannot be overstated. The alliance, forged in the aftermath of World War II, has been a cornerstone of stability in the region. The current geopolitical landscape, however, demands a re-evaluation of NATO's role. It requires not only a unified perception of Russia's threat, but a commitment from member states to shoulder a greater burden in maintaining the security and integrity of the European continent. The shift in the USA's focus towards China raises concerns about NATO's future responsibilities. Without a unanimous understanding of Russia's threat, Europe risks falling behind in an emerging arms race. The experts predict that, especially if Russia wins the war, an arms race will ensue, making a credible defense crucial. The geopolitical landscape is dynamic, with the global balance of power shifting. The United States' reorientation towards countering the rise of China introduces a layer of complexity to NATO's responsibilities. The risk of an arms race, particularly if Russia emerges victorious in the ongoing conflict, is a stark reality. The need for a credible defense becomes not only a strategic imperative, but a prerequisite for maintaining a semblance of stability in an increasingly uncertain world. In conclusion, the DGAP report serves as a wake-up call for Europe and NATO. The evolving geopolitical landscape demands a proactive approach to counter the growing threat from Russia. It's essential for nations to unite, strengthen their defenses, and ensure a collective response to safeguard European security. Thank you for joining us today on Military Watch News. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe.